the Buddha introduced this way of life, practical way. For lay people, householders, worldly people, one method. For the monks and nuns, another method. So you should not try to follow the monk's way of life. I advise monks also not to follow your way of life. When we develop this mind, we maintain some sort of peace, calmness, tranquility, satisfaction in our life. Now we haven't got any of them. Because our minds are very weak. Do you know the reason why our minds are very weak? We have fear because of that weakness. We have insecurity feeling because of that fear. We have suspicion because of that fear. Small children scared of so many things because their minds are very weak. And we also maintain this fear. Reason is, every minute we are wasting our mental energy for nothing through our five senses. How you use your senses? Your eyes, your ear, your nose, your mouth and your body, these five channels, you extract the mental energy and fix that energy to the external object and create your imagination, suspicion, fear, worry and admiring and enjoying emotional satisfaction. Use your mental energy. In the end, you won't gain anything. Disturb the mind, that's all. You collect so many rubbish from outside through the five senses and disturb the poor mind. Mind has no time to relax. Every second, either through the senses, if not the mind itself, create imagination, also mental energy. So, minds are weak because we are wasting energy. After that, produce hydroelectricity to illuminate the whole country. Formerly, they wasted that water. Exactly in the same manner, we are wasting our mental energy for nothing. Here the Buddha introduced, don't waste your mental energy through these five senses. Close these five. Then the mind gets the chance to relax. Because mind has to reject, mind has to accept, and to consider whether to accept or to reject. Real torture to the mind. Keep away from all those things. Allow that poor mind to relax. At that time, you rejuvenate, you recharge the battery in your mind that you have wasted. When you concentrate on one particular object, neutral object, without allowing the mind to run here and there, then you develop. The Buddha used the word bhavana, development. Development of the mind, that means we harness, accumulate the lost energy and develop. When it is developed, the mind becomes very dynamic force. The fear we had earlier disappears. suspicion, insecurity, all those things disappear. Then we get courage, knowledge, understanding, wisdom through this cultivation. This method has no religion, not belong to any particular religion. Any human being who has a mind can practice this method. Now you have very serene looking faces, very happy, very calm, very nice, look very good people. But one or two words are more than enough to irritate and provoke and disturb you, you can behave like devils. Because those devils were sleeping, hiding. Now we are not, you don't allow them to come up. By considering the nature of our mind, we are keeping them always at the bottom as sediment. When circumstances come, irritation, temptation are then aroused. Entirely change our attitude, our way of life, our face, our mind, through the influence of internal evil forces. As long as these evil forces remains, we never experience happiness. Happiness is one thing, pleasure is another thing. We take pleasure as happiness. It is not happiness. Pleasure we gain, what is pleasure? Emotional satisfaction. Fleeting nature. Next moment disappear. The pleasure you had at this moment become the biggest headache and problem next moment. Now you can understand the difference between pleasure and happiness. Happiness we cannot gain by keeping those evil forces in the mind. When those evil forces, anger, jealousy, grudge and ill will, selfish ideas are no more in the mind, then the brightness that appear in the mind is the happiness. So if you want to maintain happiness, give this chance to your mind to relax, to develop and to suppress and reduce and uproot later all the evil forces which are hiding in our mind. When you take a bucket of water from a pond, the water is covered with dried leaves and dust. But the water is very clear. So you can shake and all the dirt, you can see clear water. Then you take one bucket of water. Very nice. But after that, the dirt all slowly come and cover. So when you meditate, your mind is pure. You don't allow anger, jealousy, grudge and ill will, all the dirty things, wicked things to appear, disturb the mind. But when you stop your meditation, all these things come and begin. When you covered green grass from a bucket or basin, keep for 2 weeks, open. You can see green leaves turn into white. So when you meditate, lot of changes take place in your mind. It's very calm, very serene, and no anger, no jealousy, no grudge. Because your mind is under the influence of this concentration. But when you go back to your normal way of life, again those things come back. And the grass that you covered for 2 weeks change the color because you stopped the sunlight. After that, next week when you come back, you can see again turned into green color. So our minds are also exactly like this when you come back to the normal worldly life. Worldly life is very troublesome. It is true. You cannot become very religious people. If you try to be very religious, your life becomes nuisance to others. Yes, your family people, your members, your friends cannot appreciate because you are too religious. Therefore, I don't advise anybody to be too religious. Become nuisance to others. Go step by step, developing without allowing others to create misunderstanding or become nuisance. Don't allow your way of life to become nuisance to others. You want to show you are too religious. The example, in your family, you eat anything, whatever you like. Suddenly you change your mind, you say, I'm vegetarian. Don't cook anything here, no fish, no meat, no egg, nothing. You become nuisance to all the others in your family. That is why I say, if you want to go to that extreme, then renounce. After that, no problem. Without creating disturbance to others. Lead a normal way of life. Again, the Buddha introduced this way of life, practical way. For lay people, householders, worldly people, one method. For the monks and nuns, another method. So you should not try to follow the monk's way of life. I advise monks also not to follow your way of life. You have to think about your children, your wife, your husband, your property, your business. But there are certain things that you can do as worldly people. Here the Buddha says, you can maintain 4 kinds of happiness. Atti sukha, bhoga sukha, anana sukha, anavajya sukha. 4 kinds of happiness. If you come to know that you have something, either bank account, or a house, or a piece of land, or a business, or some jewelries, you gain some sort of happiness. The Buddha said that is important for you. He never said you must throw away all those things and go back to jungle. Because it is not practical. Atti sukha, bhoga sukha. By spending what you have earned, don't be stingy. Some people work and earn, never eat even good food. And never buy good clothing also. Buddha says, enjoy your life. You can have nice food, good dress, nice house and television and no harm at all. But you must enjoy respectable way. Without harming, bluffing, swindling, cheating others. You can enjoy your life. Buddhism never say, you should not laugh, you should not joke, you should not enjoy your life. No. You can have nice life, peaceful life, enjoyable life, but respectable way. Bhoga sukha. Anana sukha. By knowing your income, you had to adjust your budget, not to borrow from others. You had to surrender your dignity and under obligation. Sometimes you go and hide or run away from the country after borrowing from others. Don't make the habit to borrow from others. Maintain that happiness to think, I am not indebted to anybody. Independent. That happiness is very important for human dignity. The Buddha says this. Last one is more important. Anavajya sukha. When you think that you have not done any harm to anybody, that you have no guilty feeling in your mind, I have done this and this and this and that, all the dirty things. That happiness is the most important, remarkable happiness in our life. Why? All the other three happiness disappear before our death, cannot carry. But the last happiness that we maintain in our mind, free mind, that happiness support us to have better rebirth. Because we die, we depart from this world without having any guilty concern, guilty feeling in our mind. This is the way how we had to adjust our way of life if you want to lead the worldly life. But by realizing the difficulties, problems and commitment, some people renounce. It is up to them. Then they can have a very peaceful life and no jealousy, no anger, no grudge, and very peaceful life they can lead after that renunciation. Renunciation does not mean simply by shaving it and using the clothing into this. That is not the renunciation. This is external object, manifestation. Renunciation takes place in the mind. That means reduce attachment, reduce craving, reduce crazy attitude towards so many things. That is called renunciation. When you reduce all those things, naturally your way of life also going on changing without your knowledge. That is the real. As householders, you can practice this renunciation according to your age, your maturity, your understanding. You can practice by reducing and reducing. In the end, have free mind. Depart from this world with free mind, with hopes and confidence. Here the Buddha has shown the path for worldly people to adjust their life. In the end, one day they can depart from this world without fear and worry and disturbances. So when we train that mind, we experience all these good results.